being Phoenix counter, there's that to consider. Still, Aster, you see the bans. Mars wasn't banned out. That's something they could consider. They could pick it up here right now if they wanted to. Pick their pause. 4 down the line if they switch over.
10 seconds.
They could pick it up here right. Just need something to kind of tie it together.
Huh? The pickup coming out. Last time it was the Void. I'm not sure what other position 1 they would like Dpl-Cda to play here. Again, they are 1 game away from getting through to the upper bracket.
VG Gaming.
So it's a great position here for Aster. They go for the tiny pickup. Bit of this coming out from a lot of time. Well, if there's one thing that just never changes about the tiny is avalanche loss just destroys pretty much anyone. That certainly has been the case, regardless of the recent buffs Tiny's gotten. He's still very, very effective in that sense.
5 seconds remaining.
You look at that Void Spirit, you look at that Earth Spirit, they...
Yeah, it's the best situations for VGM. That's a lot of burst on hand press. As you mentioned, we've seen the Tiny really start to make its reappearance. Of course, in this case, you don't have as much room for the core Tiny. You might be seeing that Tiny Phoenix support duo instead of the core Tiny. We tend to see some teams flux out. I guess that's also a possibility for Aster if they wanted to, although I don't see any reason why you'd demote Conk still. Aster again tying their draft a lot better, VG. They need ways to combo off this Earth Spirit and Void Spirit further down. They need more to come out. They still need answers for Phoenix, and they do get the Undying.
Wow.
Huh.
It makes enough sense though, doesn't it? Like, you're gonna be fighting non-stop with these two spirits picked up, so why not just go for an Undying and amp things up? Now Aster, you wanna fight, you're gonna fight into the black hole, and it's we've been seeing these Enigmas. They're not really going for that old build of Helm of the Dom or Necro books or anything like that. It's back to the Dota 1 days, John.
Yeah.
They just rush some boots. They get a blink dagger. Maybe they figure out they need a big AP afterwards. And of course the Midas. How can I forget? The Midas is also there. But it's really back to the old days of Enigma when I feel it's more fun this way anyway. Being able to just concentrate on trying to land big black holes. I do love the pickup from Aster. I do just get slightly concerned for them, because VG Gaming with this draft so far, they can run at you super quick.
Yeah, they can. I know though. Like there's very sensitive timing to the Undying, and they did rework this ult to be like it was before, if I recall right, so it doesn't apply damage in the air, it amps up instead. I don't know, I'm still very iffy on Undying. Like, his core issues are still there, the issue of Tombstone, the timing it has, and the spike the hero has from laning. Just such a very sensitive start. VG does have to apply that pressure nice and fast. They do opt for the Morphling once more. So they go into that hero for yours. There are some decent heroes to morph into. The Conk is still great. I think the Tiny is a great one if you really just want to burst heroes down. That's a lot of damage the Morph can pump out in that form. So it's a great response to that. VG still slightly worried about certain things. Like, again, we talked about the Enigma. After that BKB is up, none of these heroes pierce that spell immunity. So it's going to be a free black hole for Aster, regardless of who they catch in. And we'll see if VG finds something for their offlane to sort that out. Otherwise, the team fight for Aster is looking pretty terrifying. You've got Black Hole, you've got Supernova, the classic Paradox in play. You've got the Conk and Tiny as well. A lot of good timers here for Aster to play around, and we saw it in Game 1. Normally, when you're stuck to these kind of big team fight spells, you worry about constraining yourself to those spells, but Aster's shown us that doesn't matter for them. They can play around those cooldowns really well.
5 seconds
That they can.
remaining.
Final banouts now, VG Gaming. Of course, they banned out the PL first.
Dire team ban.
been getting rid of the AM. Kind of start to ask yourself what you give S-Triple-C now for the side of Asta.
Turn to pick.
They do actually ban out the Rubik on the side of Asta. Fair enough, I guess, into the Enigma Kunkka and Phoenix. Just way too many spills to give away. They're going to go for the Earthshaker to finish off. And now I wonder, is this going to be a core ES? Are we seeing something weird like a core Earth coming out? I don't know. It's probably just a core Earthshaker.
Yeah, it's possibilities are there. You know, we have seen that core Earth Spirit once.
5 seconds.
I don't know about our
remaining.
core Undying. It's just it's been such a long time since it was a thing, but I guess you could make it work if VG was looking for that. We'll see. I do believe we have seen Yang play the Shaker anyways. It's a safe bet, and it makes sense, right? You can jump in, you can break up the pump up with the Enigma's Eidolons. Yeah, it is going to be the Yang Shaker. They do close out the S-Triple-T Spectre. So Aster's got this amazing team fight with 4 heroes, and then they've got the Spectre who can just farm in the middle of it, or pop the Haunt, just soak some kills. And this is really looking tight for Master. You know, they've got some sick early power spikes for the first 4 heroes. They've got really great late scaling with the Spectre. They just need to ensure Triple C finds that farm. And Aster, if they can play around their timing, they can do it again. VG, there is a lot of pressure to win early. When you have the Earth Spirit, when you have the Undying, you cannot afford to lose that lightning phase. You just want to snowball from there, and VG's got to keep that pace up, and we'll see if they can pull it off. And there's a reason why you don't see too much Undying nowadays.
It is true, but I think if you're gonna pick Undying, this is probably one of the drafts to do it in. Like, because you've just got so much progression from Ori, PYW, and DY. And don't forget, the Earth's probably going to go rush Veil of Discord. With the Flesh Golem, you can amp up even more magic damage from Ori and PYW. I think this would work. Now, I agree it's a bit risky from VG Gaming. I do agree on that. But it seems to be the idea behind this is just give Yura space on the Morphling and make sure he has a better time than last game around. And I do have confidence that this time he should be able to at least give Eurus more time.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a much more aggressive lineup. I think you can expect them to force more plays on for Aster on their end. This really does look like a bit of a BKB game for the Enigma. So you can expect success to perhaps go for what we've tended to see, Brown Boots, either the Barking Greaves rush or the Blink BKB rush, one of those. Just play off of that team fight. But again, I'd say VG's under a lot more pressure for the early. You said that they've got
Batter up.
there. You can't wait because if you do, it's just gone. So they really do have to maximize DY's Undying, and he's off to a nice footing. I mean, he's going around with taunts. There's at least that. Got some sick moves on this Undying.
So, you know, the Undying Taunt, one of my least favorites, John.
What's wrong with you? It's so cool. It's so fun. It's such a fun little taunt. When you're in the Flesh Golem, it's even better. it's even better in the Flesh Golem form, admittedly. It's one of the only reasons you level that skill up.
It's fair enough. So, perhaps they start off as a tri-lane here for VG Gaming. I mean, the Undying is just one of the series that really does enjoy tri-lanes if that's what you wanted to do. And it may be worth starting off as one, just for the ES, and see if you can just get an early first blood going for yourself on VG Gaming side. And I believe they are going to try up at the top rune spot. Yang's going to be there ready to go on the ES and see if they can roll in on somebody and perhaps set up that first blood. Like, oh, S-Triple-C, this is not the place to be at the moment. They're going to roll, it won't connect, but Yang is going to level up the Fisher still. S-Triple-C going to try and Spectral Dagger his way out, and he will make it.
The battle begins.
And Roshan just bashing people. Don't you even think about it. Walk the other way, sir. YW getting a very unfortunate bash from the old Roshan.
Yeah, and that breaks off that engagement. It does actually look like they're going to be splitting off, which is what I'd prefer. You know, Undying is such an EXP greedy hero that a tri-lane just ruins his timings. You're going to miss out on your level 2, and in the time you'd want it, you're going to miss out on the key level 3. When you'd want, at that point, you just give up the lane. You know, you miss those ticks. The power spikes are just not there. And what?
Spade can't do anything. He always like, you don't want to fight? Well, what's the problem? Are you missing some strength right now? You're missing more strength, Fade. It's a tough lane for the Tiny. You can't really do much here up against DY. I suppose just with his presence alone, it can force that safe lane into a 1v1. That you make the argument perhaps he doesn't really want that, because XSS on Enigma is to be able to deny a lot of creeps and control the lane here up against Eurus. So you might need to really concentrate on just shutting down the Enigma rather than fading the Tiny.
Yeah, it's not really ideal for DY to just play tag with Fade. Fade is perfectly fine. He's just looking for a toss situation here, and I think that's why posturing's happening. But XSS, you know, it's the Enigma, right? You just on a conversion, deny that range creep every time. Eurus is up to a pretty decent start. He's 7-0, so our Morphling is not really hindered so far. But the same thing goes for XSS, and again, DY. He's gonna have to find a way to hit that level 2 mark, and we'll see whether he commits to the early Tombstone for aggression or the Soul Rip to sustain. I think when you've got Morphling around, you get so much more value from Soul Rip. Like, you just be full HP every time. So, you know, just playing that sort of defensive Undying in the game should be something that pays off down the line.
I agree with that. I don't think there's much point in the early point in Tombstone either. That level 2, and he does indeed go for the Soul Rip. Eurus will be very safe now, knowing he'll have that free boost of HP every time he needs it. Of course, in the mid lane, Chuan is going to be up against Ori. The Kunkka versing Void Spirit once again. Ori just going to try and replicate his performance last game in the laning phase and try to, at minimum, even it out up against Chuan, who should theoretically have somewhat of advantage on the Kunkka. And, as long as Ori can survive, it should be alright. It's just going to be a matter of how they can follow up after the laning stage with this Void Spirit. Well, Chuan is definitely going to want to replicate his own performance because he had a great game in game number 1. Really just setting a great pace for his team. And if he can do that again with their draft, it's going to be hard for Vici to come back. And so he really does have a lot of the game in his hands.
Yeah, and talking about the way for this lane to change with the support rotation, it doesn't look the top lane's ready for that, as PYW is under a lot of pressure from his low lane.
He is. He's going to get changed down, and Fisher is going to save him for now. But no, Bapoko does end up getting the spot on the Phoenix. We'll see himself some nice XP back into the lane. Yeah, he's been doing a decent enough job of trying to get a bit of harassment and denies that up against the Spectre. But overall, S-Triple-T is still just farming fine. And it's going to be a matter of what kind of item build this Spectre wants to go for this game. Looks like my question has been answered. He's going for a Meteor Hammer.
Yeah, I like it. I think S-Triple-T understands that the region can put a little down mid.
Oh, the 2 save. Fade. He comes in with the Avalanche. Fun, he already has 2 braces up, so the ES rotations from PYW they're probably pointless at this point because the Kunkka's way too tanky.
Oh. Not only that, but with that leeway he got, of course he can play X. P just to refill himself. He has a bottle, but this is mitigating that early presence you want from TYW. And again, that's one of the things the Earth Spirit is supposed to excel at. So early rotations out, so you're not quite finding those openings. And well, Aster so far off to a pretty swell start, even down bottom. Look at it again. Fade's just chasing around DY. This means that he's not near his morph. This means that he's not applying that pressure on lane, although it is still fairly good for years. You take a look at XXS, he's got 11 denies. And, you know, it's just set to get worse and worse as this thing just continues on.
I don't think Fade should be allowed for what he's doing on this Tiny. Because as the Undying, you are very, very lane dominant. You don't actually want to lose the lane to the other support. But it does start to feel like Fade's having a bit much of an easy time with this Tiny. So I start to question the impact of this Undying so far.
Yeah.
And I realize you're always going to have the Soul Rip, to help out Eurus, so the impact's always going to be there. But apart from that, I mean, you could have picked up any other hero that can heal him. It's just not your standard Undying that runs in, spams decay, and dies, and then just comes back and does it all over again. He's been all over the place trying to get these pulls off and trying to get the creep equilibrium the way of Vici, but the problem is Fade keeps interrupting these pulls. He's just not making it easy.
This is really how the Undying boils. This is the most efficient way for them to play it in this lane, which is why I'm really not fond of this pick. Like, look at Fade. The main reason he can get away with this is he's got brown boots. He moves a 3-5-5. The DY just can't even just dance around. He does have his brown boots now, but he's out of mana. He's gonna have to pop the clarity to regen back up, and Fade is not gonna make that easy or wait around until he's back to full.
No, just stealing the creeps away. This lane is just going to push out again, because now you've got more creeps. In fact, he's going to go for a chase. He'll give up on that. Really have much mana to begin with, but he does bring some clarities and mang. But PYW is going to rotate in with the tombstone to be dropped. Can it actually kill off XXS? Europe is coming in with the waveform, and that might be enough to toss back. Brigade is not going to help quite enough as Eurus is able to get the final attack in. It's a very nice rotation up for PYW.
Yeah, it does pay off. They do slow down the Enigma. It's a lot of commitment down bot. Of course, that does free up top lane just a bit more for Dpl-Cda to find that better time. And Factor is really just having the better end of the trade here in comparison to Eurus. So I guess in the end, Astra's still going to be satisfied with that. They're still hitting the beats. But XXS, it's working towards Midas on the Enigma. And at that point, the farm is just steady going for our Enigma, whereas Yang, I mean, there's still a lot more to build on to Shaker. He's 5, and Dpl-Cda does have a 6. Even Baboka on the last 5 Phoenix, he's been soaking a good amount of XP for himself here, to be able to hit his own level 6 market relatively time as well.
It's about the Earth Spirit landing phase. It's kind of hard to contest the Phoenix, and if Baboka's been allowed to get pulls off consistently on that Phoenix, he's just been able to get so much XP on his own. Just don't want that as VG Gaming. But there's just no way around it with an Earth Spirit, because he really does not contest those pulls at all very well. You can do it, but that's not really what Hero's made for. So they're going to try again to focus in on that mid lane, to see if they can interrupt Juan here. Now Rune's going to spawn up, or going to fight over it with the rolls in now. PYW does get the stun, and the X is going to be up on that Earth Spirit. Now Fade, he's going to come in, boats are flying, but it won't connect on anyone. They still toss PYW further, but now DY is here on the Undying. And it's not looking great for either team. Both are eventually just going to have to back off if they just don't have the damage output yet. But roll back in, PYW trying to protect that illusion rune. Chuan unable to get it now, perhaps. They could try to go into Chuan, but you just have so many spells on cooldown for DG, they just can't. So everyone gets out scot-free, and that was all over an illusion rune.
And it's a net win for Aster, because they dropped the tombstone from DY, so that's 175 gold going way of the conqueror. Just that, this is another downside of dying. Like, you have to commit that tombstone to win out in these trades, but when you lose the tombstone and at level 1, it's very easy to lose it. It's a lot of gold for Aster to play with, so they're perfectly happy with his trade. They've got free space for Dpl-Cda with his kind of movement. He's got his Meteor Hammer, Mike. His farm's going to accelerate that jungle. It's really just playing what Aster wants so far.
I love it. Mid lane, they're going to make a jump. They have caught out the Phoenix, but Baboka, he will go down. You can't really show yourself against PYW and Ori, because as soon as that roll connects, you're going to die. Assuming you aren't only the Kunka, who is just the tankiest target on the map. So a nice little pick up there on the support. Because you look down at the bot lane, you're still just freely farming up, but mid lane, Fade, he get jumped on, and it's the same story for the Semester. They can't show if PYW and Ori are near each other. It just will not work out in your favor.
Yeah, they've got to respect that power spike. Still, I think they're also trying to keep these heroes at mid just to get that spacing out. They're giving themselves free time for success to try to play farmer. He finds Tombstone again, 125 gold. Just that. Whereas your Enigma And they find the back clearance as well down, so
Radiant's top
gonna keep it
tower
even
is
there.
under attack.
Astra again, just locking in on the small trades. Vito, they're getting some space out for themselves as well. Eurus is having a relatively good time farming as well. He is actually above S-Triple-D right now in terms of farm. So our Morphling is off to a decent start. And as long as VG keeps that going, well, Eurus at some point should be able to really start to take over.
Well, he's not even, he's not going for a similar build either. He's not rushing that Lincoln Sphere that we saw last game, but rather he's going to go for the more aggressive build in the match style. That should pay off a little bit here for Vici. Is now Yang's got the Blink Dagger up on the ES, and that's a very, very nice timing. With the pick up, you expect Yang to perhaps just pick a rotation, and in fact, why rotate if you just go on to S-Triple-C? Problem is he can just ulti away like that, and now Kwan is going to come in with a boat to Yang.
Radiant structures are
He's by himself, and well, you're only be able to do anything, but as long as S-Triple-C gets out of there, they're okay with that. And he just horned down to the lane with Ostana T1 tower push. Game will try to do the same at the top lane.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, I go committed as S-Triple-C and XXS goes down. I did not catch that, but it was a lot of damage.
Oh, Jesus, they just clumped up. And he didn't reveal that blink when he was pushing the top. It wasn't on him. They did manage to get a really successful reveal. They defend their tier 1 at the same time, and they find that tier 1 up top. So major win there for VG. And this is more than likely the point where they really start playing a lot more active. They've got the tools they need on Yang. They've got the levels they want in their supports. They can start shrinking this jungle down, shrinking the map down, while S-Triple-C, he's not quite ready to go. And Eurus is actually ready to actually just move around the map. So a lot more options there for VG. Astra's got to be a bit cautious here.
I sort of got a haste from Baboka. Vici feeling a little more confident after seeing that Yang play down the bot lane for now. Maybe go for a little bit more here. Baboka and XXS going to show themselves down at that bot lane. Be dangerous, the roll. PYW going to go after the Eidolons, but now Midnight also going to be good here from XXS. Just trying to protect his Eidolons, but he gets taken out. Still, the rest of Asta are now joining in down to that bot as they have the black hole up. They want to try and make some plays happen. Avalanche going to be out on Ang, but they're going to go on instead. So DY is going to go down to the Undying. And Asta now to just set up on that tier 1 tower, and well, they're just still trying to get the trade off. Probably their mid tier 1s have been under siege while they're doing so.
Under attack.
That would be a much more favorable trade for VG, unfortunately, or he's not the fastest pusher in the world. He'll just step away. His tier 1 block will go. They are keeping in Eurus though.
PYW with the Avalanche toss, and now Eurus waveforming in with the Avalanche toss himself, and well, bit of lag there, but Torrent connecting on PYW, and XXS still has the black hole up. It hasn't found the angle yet. Well, now Yang, he just jumps in with Boulder Smash enough to kill off XXS. Eurus is still in the chase. In fact, Baboka kills off PYW and now drops the kick onto DY. Fade will just be out of there. Meanwhile, Chuan is still being paced down on the corner. They really want this kill, and it looks like they are probably going to get it on left. They can get out, but no. Echo being committed by Yang. He does not want to waste any time. Not risking anything.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Master losing quite a few heroes in the gate.
Yeah, that's a massive win for VG once more. They're just able to respond to this aggression, able to force Astra out into awkward spots. None of their heroes really ripped to go at success.
He's just on fire. He goes in, but now Black Hole XXS commit. He only got one. He'll just channel it all the way anyway. They do get a nice offlane Earth Shaker kill. Now they want D1 that Undying. Could eventually be able to kill him. He's just wasting a hell of a lot of time here, but event Fade wants to take a kill on the Tiny. So a bit more of a positive engagement there from the side of Astra, and VG, they may have just overextended a little. Yang getting a bit too excited on that Earth Shaker.
Yeah, it's still pretty good for VG. You know, they've got all of their cores up there in the up echelons of graph. They're having a decent time ramping Eurus. He's already got his Yasha up. It's only about 1050 off the ultimate orb into his mana. So this Morpho is starting to shape up to be a real menace. And Aster, again, they need more time here. It's not as simple for XXS to be ready to go. He's very close to his blink, which is great, but he really needs the BKB to be up and running for him to really commit those black holes. Before then, Aster, they're not quite ready to take these bigger engagements that VG's just been willing to get into. They still need to buy some time for Dpl-Cda as well.
Getting caught out here by Ori. He's going to try and escape. The DY is going to be to cut him off. Oh, Yang, of course, just going to land the Fisher. He does go down. While he was going down, however, XXS now has the blink up. So you initiation now from this Nick. In fact, top lane, PYW got X back into the torrent. They're not going to follow up though, they're just going to let the Earth run away. Chuan did just pick up his Orchid as well, so you've got a bit more kill potential now on the Skunker with that Orchid up. Nobody's going to really be around for him to try and take out, but he's going to have a look for PYW on the tree line. He can get lucky. PYW's going to need a roll. Chuan sees him and he does get him with the Orchid. The X into the boat torrent. Going to be there from
Deluged.
PYW. Getting caught with his pants down.
It's not the biggest loss in the world for VG. It does give him some Involdo down, but they do catch up Yang. No black hole.
Not really needed though. They got the torrent. Last few Orchids there, and Yang was, as soon as the Orchid came up on that Conker, Chuan has been very active, making great use of it. Second kill he's gotten already with that Orchid, and what looks like Aster's fine and ready to go for these fights.
Yeah, they've at least got one here that can start to set up a lot more stable control. All those kills are also giving Fade space and time to finish up his own blink as Tiny, so Fade's gonna be ready to really start setting up even more kills for VG. And all of that is very good news, as Dpl-Cda still needs space to farm up. They do have a haunt ready if they want to make any plays down bot. That is the D1. And VG is forming up top. They've already got that Manta and Eurus. They have a lot more leeway with for this Morphling play.
In on the boat. Remnant not gonna latch on, still the Magnetizer and Double Salve is out, but SC is gonna be up there, and PYW can't really get any kind of job done here. Everyone gonna survive from Aster, and just gonna walk out safely with another kill the mid lane. Yang very deep. You're just gonna come in to try and help him out. They got the Orchid off. Still, he will survive through it, and now maybe just take out Fade, but he's surviving on the Tiny. And Eurus, he does go too far and does go down on the Morphling. Ori is messed up once again. He'll try to go for the dissimulate dodge and does get it, but Bavoka is going to be right on Phoenix, and now looks like this going to be there with the follow-up. And Echo Yang commits a huge Echo Slap, committing on 3, but is it going to be enough? No one's really dying yet. Looks like Yang does go down.
Ooh, it was a big one coming out from Yang. They did cancel off the black hole attempt, but not quite worth the effort. They still lost Eurus in the end. They lost Yang as well. They're trying to chase down here.
Boga. You're not even going to buy that Phoenix kill, I guess, at this point. You've got decent pickoffs there, especially on Eurus, but PG, they'll just take what they can get. Back off once again. Aster can find themselves with a 1k network lead now. It just slowly seems to be a repeat of what happened in game 1 almost, right? In fact, Fade, he gets deep down to the pot lane while I'm looking at Eurus, but it seems to be slowly turning into a repeat of that game 1 where Aster just eventually take over the network lead, and they're just being so aggressive with their play style that VG Gaming just don't seem to be able to really keep up.
Down to the fact that Aster's found these big items. The Blink and Fade, to find that pick off on UI. Orchid from Chuan, giving them so much value. And Dpl-Cda just making use of all the space. still not quite there in the Manta. Once that's up, he's gonna have a lot more space to play around. Not in the best of spots, as you can see, in the top jungle, smoke up, trying to run to catch someone out. I don't know if they'll be able to, though, really.
Oh, bot lane, they know DY's there in the tree line. Chuan not going to go for the dive past the tier 2 tower. Oh yeah, anyway, DY does show himself. Oh, they just want the easy kickoff. That's quick wave. He's not interested in trying to contest the Undying. With all the time being, well, I mean, Dpl-Cda, he's about to pick up his full Manta style. We know what happens with Spectres if it goes too into the game. Yeah, they do tend to get a little bit out of control, and on top of that, you've got Baboka now with the Spirit Vessel. So, Morphling only has the Manta to try and dodge that out. Doesn't really have much else. Yeah, pretty tough time for Eurus if he does get called out.
Yeah, he's gonna have to really balance out that Manta use. There's just so much control Aster can pump out, and the smoke, they're not gonna be able to catch Ori out, but they might find PYW.
Perhaps. Breaks, Fate knows he's there somewhere, but the rollout? No avalanche committed, and it's gonna be a very easy escape for PYW. Now Ori trying to go into the opposed jungle and see if he can spot out XXS, and he does. So he makes the jump in, and he has plenty of damage. His XXS, he doesn't have any real defensive line, apart from the Ogre Club, I guess, but until that BKB's up, he really can't survive Ori's damage output if he does get caught out by himself. And now mid lane, knowing the Enigma's down, they want to get for more. They do catch that Chuan with a great fisheye, blocks off Chuan Cook. Last to X him up, but it's going to be no good. Chuan down now to Eurus.
Yeah, these are some really important pickoffs for VG, really maximizing these aggressive wards they planted earlier on, just making it work for themselves. And with those pickoffs, they feel confident enough to go into the Roche. Now, a fairly quick Roche. There is still the Haunt, there's the Egg, there's the Blink from Fade. If they had any idea what was going on, which that shit doesn't make a deal. It's going to be a free one for VG, and that's going to enable them to keep that aggression up as they continue to try to fight against this net worth advantage as they up for themselves.
Is under attack.
Get in there. I mean, that net worth only increasing for them, but with that Aegis, you're going to feel a lot more safe across this map, and he's also very, very close to that Aghanim Scepter, so the ES morph is almost online. Just needs 500 gold just about on the Morphling to have it fully up. Top lane, what's going on there? It's P1W and Yang running through the tree line to get... Perhaps for that, there's no ward there. Running together, I guess. Eventually, they do split apart. Ori also has Aghanim Scepter up now, John. So that's a lot of key items coming down here. Feed back, bot lane. There goes DY. Isham gonna be able to set up on Fade. PYW does stunt and slow him, but he's cancelled anyway. 1 for 1.
Yeah,
It's
a decent trade. I think Aster's still going to be happy just keeping his Undying down. The progression for DY has really tapered off. And he wants to finish those Guardian Greaves. He does have the mech at the least, but it's slow going for the Undying, and this is around a point where it does start to taper off a bit, although VG as a whole, they're still looking great. That app you were mentioned for years, up and running, so the combo shaker is set to go, and that's when the Morphling really hits its stride, is having all that right click damage in the world on hand with a simple shift shaker. So expect them to try to reveal this relatively soon. Really try to blow someone up, as they do still hold on to that agent. They need to try to recoup some control on the map as well.
Gonna try now. That bot T1 tower gonna be targeted here by VG.
Tower is under attack.
Juan gonna show himself, goes for the Echo, but a nice fish route from Yang, just blocks another fish route, actually just traps him up. That's actually a great setup there from Eurus, who jumps in now to Chuan. Yang gonna be there with another attack totem. Oh, that is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant from Yang Eurus.
That's it was a strange spot for John to be in alone. He must have spotted that in Morphlin earlier. He was hitting up their Eidolons way earlier on, and that's a really good reveal on that Ags for Eurus. Really maximizing that. They should be able to take this tier 1 as well. So they pretty much take control on the map. They remove all the tier 1s from Astra's side. And Astra, they've got to be a lot more cautious going out there. They do have the BKB up on XSS that might give them the confidence to force some more fights down the line. But they're still taking it slow here, Astra. They just need to build up on their Spectre, on their Kunkka, and on their Enigma. And they can start to apply that control as soon as VG starts to maybe drop off from this big spike they've got so far.
Well, they've got us getting a little bit concerned about how Eurus is doing this more. I mean, he's starting to pull a bit too far ahead, I think. With that Eye of Sky coming out, that's gonna make life a lot harder for S-Triple-C. Asta's still be confident, just chilling out, just farming. S-Triple-C gonna be slightly worried now as they are gonna roll in. PYW with the connection, does use the Veil, but misses the Boulder Smash. Still, does get another roll in. And they should be able to get S-Triple-C. He can't even haunt away yet. The chances don't know. He goes for a DP, but it is cancelled off by the Yule Scepter. Another silence to come out now. S-Triple-C still just not going to even bother pressing the horn. There was really no escape from that. That's a great pick up there from Vici Gaming.
Yeah, it's a really big one for them. Again, just taking down that Spectre, slowing down that progression for S-Triple-C, and they can't afford to play this far forward. They can't afford to start splitting up now. This is when VG's at their strongest. They're going to be going around hunting all over the map, and any stragglers will just die. So Aster has to be ready to take the fight back towards VG. Again, they've been sitting on this BKB from XSS. Let's have it ready to go. There are options there for Aster, but it looks like they're going to have to surrender this top tier 2 as VG to clean it out for free.
That they do. And I've Scott going to be coming in very, it's only getting worse and worse fast. You start to question whether they're going to make a play with this Blink BKB Black Hole at this point. Like, they're really just dragging things down maybe a bit too long on the side of Asta, just giving VG Gaming as much space as they want. And, well, now they're just going to go again at VG. Connect with the 8th Remnant. Seems like XXS wants to finish off the Shadow Blade before he does commit with his team. Smoke up. I'm gonna say the Shadow Blade isn't necessarily necessary here. Of course, it does help for positioning purposes, but it definitely is not necessary. But an AD rune is going to be there for Eurus, who does take the bottle, and Smoke is going to be broken at the worst time. But now, with that blink away, Eurus is going to smoke up with his team, and they're just going to turn around, trying to find another target to go on. And with the AD and Enchant Totem on Eurus, I can only imagine how much damage he's going to be dealing.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, it's one of those runs for yours, just having all the stars line up. Unfortunately, they walked the exact wrong way. You don't manage to spot Aster, and Aster as well, missing out on any opportunities of their own. Just a bit of a stroll in the park for both sides. Looks like Aster's just going to use this time to shove in the top tier 1. This has bought enough time for VG to finish up even more items. Yang's got a BKB flying out on our Shaker, so he's going to have an easier time lining up the spell uses he wants.
Radiant's top tower
Aster, obliging with the tower trade, does start to chip away at that mid-tier 2.
Dire's middle tower.
It's strange though, like both teams seem to just believe that they've got the late game potential right now, and obviously the side of VG Gaming are pulling it quite nicely as time goes on. Aston still seems confident as Chuan does pop his BKB, and now the Horde comes out. They just want to jump in onto DY, but he's a bit tanky this time around on the Undying. They don't take him out. Now, Eurus was there. They go on to the Phoenix, but Boga, he'll be fine. Now the Black Hole being committed does catch up to with the egg. Fade will close the avalanche toss. Is it going to be enough, however? The egg does explode, but they are all still alive. Eventually, a snap comes in from Yang. Look to turn it around with the Earth Shaker, and he does get to. And now Eurus happy to jump back in on that Morphling, but he's taking a lot of damage, and SC is just not dying. He'll turn around on D1. They'll keep the Undying now. In fact, there goes Yang on the Earth, ends up dying as well. Ori still trying to chase down Fade, but it looks like he cannot get the kill on the top. And now Ori is a 4-for-2 trade. And Eurus is back in, trying to at least kill off Baboka, and he does. And in fact, he might get Fade here. Avalanche, toss gonna come out to Tiny. They do buy back on the Phoenix. They really want this Morphling, but can they cancel the TP? They can't, because he was available. This is really bad news. He will Icarus dive away. Spirit Vessel there. The follow-up Icarus dive from Baboka, and that is not worth it. A full team wipe. Out for Asta and Vici Gaming. Bit too overly confident, it seems.
Oh. I mean, Yang engagement was amazing. They screamed and won by one at the end, despite not having numbers. And Aster, they're suddenly back up there. Got the 2K lead. They wrote out that Aegis timing. They've got so much more to grow on as Cc. That Basher just paying dividends for him. You know, he's just standing there. He gets the Basher, and that's it. They find a kill. Just that little additional control, all they need. And it's gonna be even worse now for Eurus. Cc saving up for the Scotty next. So any sort of regen he's having, he's shifting around his attributes like that, it's not gonna be there for that much longer. And he's already sort of struggled against Baboka with a Spirit Vessel charges as well. So there's a lot more feats to reconsider now. He's also saving up for his Scotty of his own. The BKB come after though. That timing might not be what they want in this game.
I wonder what Dota Plus thinks. So even with all those tools happening for VG Gaming, John, it was still looking at Asta as the probable winners of this game. Now, 80% for Asta. So Dota Plus perhaps just accepting the fact that Spectre is Spectre and Enigma is Enigma with Black Hole, just believes that probably based off his craft, Asta has the large advantage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've got the Spectre, they've got the Enigma, and that Black Hole, here's his true BKB, and there's nothing from BG to stop Black Hole unless you just murder XXS. This is, I think, one of the factors that leads to that, and I'd agree, you know, like the late game kill on Astra is strong. BG, they're not out of it, they're not necessarily worse in the late game, but Astra's a lot more potent as do smoke up, they're gonna try to go home here.
Smoke on smoke. They're gonna run right past each other. The smoke breaking just an inch off, but now the loop around Asta knows something's going on. Oh, this is behind Ori. Spot him out. Fade does not get the toss off in time. Still they haunt. Still gonna go on. They do kill off Fade and Tiny. He'll back and down the block hole. He's gonna be there. And he's caught out two of them. Where's the damage? It's not coming out. The egg is gonna come out from Baboka. They're still trying to focus out the over Yang. He does jump in with the echo again. They kill off the Texas, and there goes Schwan. And we'll see. Well, he also dies. And now this Phoenix. Baboka is gone. Eurus on an ultra kill, wanting the rampage. Where is Tiny? Fade is a man on the run right now. Eurus, he's the fence, John. He's chasing it. Elect not gonna help. They get the Fisher, and Eurus should be able to get the rampage here, and he does not.
It's too late.
It took too long. How unfortunate. A full team wipe, however. Still great news for each game.
And perfect timing. Into shit they go. No way Aster can respond to this one, of course. And Aster, it was all small missteps there. Your initiation would fade. He hesitated to get Avalanche shot combo. He managed to give free time to respond. And by that point, the X was in the wrong spot. To follow up was messy. The Black Hole wasn't perfect. Or he was Yuled stuff in the middle of it. So they lose out on a lot of DPS there. And VG just cleaning up in the end. With that Aegis, geez, it's gonna be rather tricky for Aster to jerk back in. They don't have the Black for a bit longer. They don't have the Haunt. it's going to be a bit tricky to defend. Now, AG can't quite much about that high ground. They have split off, but they might find some simple kills. Yours hits the truck, just forcing this distance out in that high ground.
Yeah. Funny too, because every team fight we've seen as of late from Astar, every time they get started, they always want to kill DY off. Whether they get a good black hole, whether they have an egg going down, anything else, it doesn't matter. They're just focusing on DY. And this position for him dying, I mean, doesn't really care. He's just walking away in his flash golem, and that's around for so long that Eurus just gets so much damage up on the Maw.
Dire's
And
bottom tower is
that
under
black hole
attack.
we saw from FXS, it just led to nothing. Because nobody's focusing on down in that black hole. They were just chasing DY. Oh, well,
Dire's
I
bottom
don't know, they might
tower has
have
fallen.
to change up the attack a little bit here. I'm not sure if DY is the most important target to go on. But definitely going to be annoying in the team fights with the decay spam and the tombstone and everything like that. Not sure if it's worth wasting the black hole for the sake of it undying.
Yeah, it's not quite worthwhile. That because Astra's always on the offensive as well, VG gets to line up some really good echoes from Yang. You know, they're forced to clump up to find that follow-up, and if they don't get that burst out, Yang always wins it out in the end. So you've got to be a lot more cautious here, Astra. There's a 7k lead now for VG off the back of that. They even got the Ags up Yang, so he can go jump around as well. You've got two really jumpy heroes now on the side of VG. That's going to cause some trouble for Astra in terms of control.
It's pretty problematic, to say the least. Top lane black hole, he's going to be considered. They have caught out Ori and they will take him out. However, they are rotating in Yang, looking for a Fisher. Will catch out XXX.
Go for it.
Now another Fisher. Another out from Eurus. There's just no escape from these two. If the Earthshaker morph next to each other, you're probably going to get trapped somewhere.
Oh yeah, and it's a nice little exchange. They do manage to still force out some big thoughts here from VG. So there's no black hole once more for a fairly long time.
Are scanning.
That does mean options in defense for counter fight are limited. And Aster, we're stuck in a really rough spot. The progression under Conquer slowdown, Chuan has not really gone too far since that Orchid pickup. He's got the pick-me-up along. He needs more. He's working towards that ACA zone. It's not fast enough. And again, you compare that to how far VG's gone with their build-up. There's just so much more for them to play with. Aster needs to find a way to bounce back in and get some farm going for themselves.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The plus is having another one of those days, John. It's a little confused right now. It's sitting at 59% for VG Gaming. Would be a nice feeling for the Radiant side, considering it's the first time it's really dipped over to them. So the game is far from over. No Rax is going down, no high ground attempts quite yet. Eurus looking like a real beast, but you've got an Eye of Skyrim now on S-Triple-C, so he has a decent way of dealing with the Morphling throughout these team fights. And as well as that, once you have the Abyssal Blade up on the Spectre, things can get quite a bit more detrimental if you are VG Gaming. Now, Eurus gets another double damage rune bottled up. So, if you wanted to make that play, you probably could now, considering that when he does pop that DD, he'll be looking for about 2.5, 3k with that enchant totem, based off my rough math. And they're gonna make it. They're gonna try and make it work.
Under attack.
Oh yeah, that's 1.7 per hit. Yeah, that's perfectly balanced here for Eurus. Gonna have a swell time hitting anything over.
Going in, and that beat. Well, they never got the heal. No, he's gonna be alright. The Echo, he committed. Yeah, he needed to commit that to provoke it down. They're gonna start the team fight at Triple-C. Won't bid, but he was by himself. They don't want to take the team fight any longer. just trying to defend their own base. But Eurus still looking to try somebody off. Does get X back into people tower. And he can put him back even further with the avalanche. You don't have that slot right now because the Phoenix is dead, and now the black hole is success. He catches two of them. There's going to be two huge pickoffs, and they do get them down. Now Ori, he's been X'd up. He will use himself and try to get himself out of there to simulate. Yang, where's he going? He'll chase down Tron off the bunker, but Ori is still in huge trouble in the mid lane. It does go down, and meanwhile Tron is still being chased by Yang and PYW. This may cost them their lives. Yang needs cheats. He'll try and enchant totem his way out, and it looks like he should be all right. Dagger's still chasing him. That's a bit unfortunate. That's going to give vision faster. Now another dagger flying out. This will give more vision to the side of Asta to chase down Yang. But he looks like he will be able to get out of there. And so does PYW.
Yeah, it's a great defense from Aster. They don't lose anything. Like, their objectives still stand. The tier still healthy, and they're fine. Like, that's a completely acceptable trade for Aster. They bounce back in the end. They find the biggest kill in the world, and this is the issue for VG, right? They've got amazing fight potential as well. You have to be so cautious about XXS. If he just slides in and he gets that black hole, oh, it's just so hard to fight into. And to make matters worse, XXS, he has so that pool on the black hole, it's just a bit shorter now. Gives him more openings to try to fight around, and he's working towards a refresh as well.
It's a lot shorter. 112 seconds. Pretty good for XXS. That refresh is obviously going to be very nice. You almost feel like you'd rather be the Octarine core right now for XXS. Just have it on like a 80-second cooldown.
Oh yeah.
The refresher obviously the black hole instant going to be very effective. And well, I have to keep checking Dota Plus, and it's gone back down the wave as. So still a very close game, John. Any one team fight can change the whole outcome of this game. You've got the ones that are really powerful at the moment. So many big ultimates as well. A matter of who could really pull off the next team fight and perhaps maybe take a Roshan out of it. Be a high ground attempt. Any advantage matters.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky for both sides. I think VG, what was earlier, are going to have to edge out themselves and hold out for buyback. Aster as well are in kind of that position. They do have major spike that's still coming out. Now you've still got 25 to hit on Chuan and Vader, still relatively far from it. You do have that room to grow as well for VG, I believe. No, they've already got it in all their cores. Lack of support. So in that sense, there's more room to grow faster, but VG do smoke up.
They have. Gonna be the side of it. So they do go on the Phoenix first. Gonna be a huge trouble with the XXS. He's caught two of them again. It looks hard already for the side of VG as they do lose already. And now it looks like PYW also goes down. They goes the air gun. In fact, they can Yang get in there with the echo, but it's not gonna be enough. Eurus, he'll make a run for it, but DY, he may not be so lucky. The avalanche is out from Fade. The toss is there. And Dpl-Cda will eventually take him out. And that's one black hole. If you had the second black hole, God only knows what would have happened.
Oh yeah. Only that, they didn't even catch Eurus black hole. He waveformed up towards the end. For the most part, that was more from not standing in there, and they still managed to force Eurus into a spot where he just could not stand and fight. These are bad signs for VG. Aster, they regain that slight tempered lead, but that's about a 5k swing with that buyback expended on PYW as well. So VG, they've got to be cautious. This puts them in a very scary spot with this spawning up. They're limited in terms of their buybacks, and that's a really important one. My gosh, it's the refresh shard on that Roach as well. Just perfect timing.
I mean, either way, if it was Aghanim's upgrade as well, it would have been kind of nice. Like, if you wanted to give it over to Twan and get if you wanted to get the black hole with the midnight pulse on top of it, with an extra midnight pulse that you can lay out yourself. I mean, just every option is nice. Yeah. shot, of course, is going to be extra nice for XXS, assuming they do give it to him, which they probably should. And, yeah, they'll leave it there. XXS will go ahead and take it. Of course, SCCC with the Ags, or rather with the Aegis and Chuan. Let's take the cheese. While that's happening, we do now have a full data list completed on Eurus.
I mean, that's neat, right? He has more damage. We've seen what it does with a waveform talent attack. Can be devastating, and especially if it's a nice crit with that enchant totem. Yeah, that is one way to handle all these issues, right? Just delete the hero immediately. They're gonna have to really hope for that miraculous dice roll as whew, they've got that refresh on XS.
3 black holes. Here we go. It started with the Horn 10. But they're going on DY. It's low. Yang will try and jump, but he's going to be careful to die. But just up Tombstone gets started as SCCC. We'll go back onto TY. They do not want some dying alive. Now the roll in on to that Spectre, but isn't going to be enough. Where's the Enigma? He is actually dead. XXS. He ended up dying out. And he does not have buyback. So now Aston, they could be in trouble. They're still trying to fight us. It's a bit lagging game. And now the Echo comes out from Yang. It's going to be a lot of damage to do, and the base clearing out the side of Aston. There's the egg from Evoker. Now SCCC with the Aegis respawn will go back in off that Earthshaker. Yang just trying to jump out of there back onto Fade, but eventually they kill off the Tiny. Now another Horde coming in. And well, it looks like the side of it, VG Game, the ones on the run is Eurus. Actually also went down. It's a mess of a team fight, and of course the game client wants to start lagging on me now with connection to the Tiny server playing more, but still a great team fight, and they do win out.
Yeah, I mean, they did have to waste a couple of things there, though. The refresh shard from XXS was preemptively spent because his black hole was on cooldown before the fight. So he's only cool. It's not like it matters. That is still more than enough. And he's had that Ag Scepter up in the last fights as well. So he's all set to really just burst these people down. And Aster still won out. They didn't even get the black hole out. They won that fight out. Now, it did take 2 lives from SCCC. So that should give them some food for thought. But Aster again just getting a vice grip on this game, and VG, they're starting to feel like they're looking for a bit of a desperate opening. And this is the point where you really start to see, particularly this Undying support. It's kind of just fading out. Even even our Kunkka just getting that Ags. It's like, Chuan. He's ready to go. Yeah, he's gonna mess up fights.
That Torrent Storm is so strong. It's kind of ridiculous how strong it is. I mean, it's become a bit of a staple in the later stages of the game for Conquers. To pick it up, once those BKBs are on very low durations, they just can't really defend themselves up against the Torrent Storm. Now SCCC goes for a very, very late BKB, but it's going to be on 10 seconds. He's got this huge duration BKB now.
Radiant's top tower
it's gonna pay a lot off, you know. It's just gonna be so worthwhile. He just shows up, full 10-second immunity. How do you handle him? You have to hope that Eurus gets to assist. We were talking about this. Stateless doesn't feel like it's doing enough. You know, it's like even if he does a crit, there's just so much armor you're having to eat through that early AC from Chuan that the damage is as amazing as you'd expect it to be. And this is causing issues for VG. That order draft is gravitating toward. Even Ori stopped itemizing for damage. You know, our Void Spirit, after the X, the Staunch, and Kaya, and the Octarine, just went A on this. So you're just trying to stay alive, and as the damage shrinks down from the rest of the team, it does become the Eurus show. And it's not like Eurus isn't farmed up, it's just that it feels like farm is lacking, which is not what you want to hear when he's number 2 in net worth. And he is up there, keep track, it's not enough.
I don't think it helps when you've got the live Skadi up on the SCCC and the Spirit Vessel there on Baboka. I mean, the last thing you'd really want is to ship his card on somebody to really just make this Morphling's life even more hellish, and Baboka is working towards one. So once that's up, get about strength morphing in a team fight. That's just not. And Asta now, with the smoke up, with the double black hole, they want to go in. And smoke is out, but it's immediately D1. Avalanche shot's going to come out on top of not dying, but he will survive. And now the black hole, the first one is there. They have caught out what used to be Ori, but it seems to be fine. All kinds of chaos. You know, another black hole coming out. It has caught out yet, and it has caught out PYW, both of which going down. You're still trying to man fight, but it's time to run. And the double tombstone being dropped there was great from wide, but the zombies just don't do anything.
Nope. Oh, it doesn't
No
fail.
damage.
It's free gold. That's what it is for Aster at this point. Just free coming out. And all those heroes, no buyback, Mike. This is just some big opening.
Fades are dying, but Chuan, he might get Urix for this. Urix, of course, going to try and fight back up against Chuan. They silence him up the hill, man, to dodge it off, and Aubrey got back onto Chuan, does kill him off. Now, they go back up the boat, it's going to be there for Triple-C Urix. He's dropping low with that Spirit Vessel on the sky. It becomes very hard for him, but Aubrey is still dealing with Boca, who does walk his way out, and as Triple-C, he's going to keep chasing down Ori. He actually pops the aimless very early on, but Ori is going to get lucky here. Gets an Invis rune, does assimilate, and is going to make a run for him. And I mean, it was still a terrible fight for VG Gaming, but at least with that final kill onto Chuan, they sort of even it out and they make it so they can't make a high ground push from Asta.
Yeah, if it buys them some more time to try to towards something, anything to build up him. Looks like for your Urix that is to be satanic. Just how much value he gets from it though?
It's pretty limited, isn't it? Like,
it really is. Like,
you have Vessel's guard and the Shiver's guard coming out. What's the tank gonna do?
no, but Urix, I think he just feels pressure to tank up. If it's the satanic, I guess he was probably looking for a heart, and again, I'm just not entirely sure if any of that is worthwhile. You look at Aster, right? Sure, they took some heavy losses in exchange. VG just manages to hold up, but they've got the black hole ready. They've got the refresh orb ready again on X success. They can just go again.
It's just your worst nightmare, Bob. An Enigma with black hole with a refresh orb and a spell prism to lower every cooldown by 20%. So it's like the refresh orb sitting at 126 cooldown. You know, your black hole is sitting at 112. It's just perfect timing if X access. And it's just not one of those games where you have to wait, you know, 5 hours for the next black hole. You could just end every basically 2 minutes. You've got a double black hole.
Yeah.
You're never really not going to have it for the high ground defense if it ever comes to that.
Yeah, it's just really good here for Aster. They've pulled out long enough to hit that stride. Even certain little things like at Triple-C, take a look at him, Mike. He's just about to hit the level 30 mark. He's gonna have 32% more hot illusion damage and 400 more HP. Such a massive boon for Triple-C, and they aren't able to really get a lid on him anyway. With that additional HP, he's just much harder to deal with. He's actually going for a late Bloodthorn. Just all of that, just more control coming out for the Spectre, more burst potential coming out, and that might just be it. He does hit 30, so 4.5k HP on our spec.
VG Gaming gonna smoke up
Dire are scanning.
right into the level 30 of Escal's worst time. Asta have also smoked. Chuan or Ori, both gonna have their smokes broken, but both here we first time out of it. But the X is gonna come out on Ori. He'll use it off. Now jumps back in on Chuan. That's pretty dangerous, but it's backlines. Yeah, gonna go up to the Phoenix, and now they also try and go after Nick, but X commits the call on that Earthshaker. They can't cancel it off, so yeah, is gone. Now refreshed XXS trying to find a target. They won't even need a PYW. He's dying to the egg damage, and they can't get out of here. He tried to enchant Totem, but now PYW has to buy back, but it looks like he just can't get out there. He will go down, and now Team Lion also in trouble with that Ori. He's going to re-engage now. At least he does kill off the Enigma, but they are going to be wide. Fade is going to try and chase down Ori. Ori will be alright. It's another great team fight out for Asta.
Oh,
The whole thing, they only lost 1, and VG Gaming, they lost 4. and had to commit a buyback on PYW that really meant nothing.
And they're gonna have to try and see if they can hold out those buybacks as Aster want to go high ground.
Well, they're committing all buybacks now. They want to go for this time, despite VG Gaming, trying to punish the side of Aster. They are at least going to get the Phoenix to see if Boca does die, and now they also kill off Fade. So if you can get S-Triple-C, that's the main guy you want. But he's got to give you TV in just a second. Fade, remember, gonna be there, and they will have enough. Huge kills out now for VG. And immediately you can see Aster, they're probably going to have to commit to buybacks. And you have both supports doing so. In fact, make that XXS flop. And that's because the Roshan's going on.
Oh boy. Oh, it's just dropping.
They need to get in there quick. But if they die here, VG Gaming may pull this game back their way. There's the Aegis going to the way of Europe. They're just trying to juggle those items, and now Ultron, he's too far forward. He's going to go down. Oh, this is looking bad now. Aster, have you overextended? But Boca, you cannot die like this. Beef's trapped up and he cannot hit for his time. The moment the PYW gonna roll in the echo. He committed, but now the black hole. Oh, got four of them. XXS gonna hold them all in, and they're gonna turn it all back around.
Oh no.
The respawn is there, but it doesn't matter. Eurus is gone, and now the second black hole catching out DY. Oh, four heroes down with no buyback. This game could be over. In fact, Ori is the last one. Fade is on the chase. But how do you defend tier 4s? You've got no buybacks. Nobody's respawning for the next 2 minutes.
You don't. And Aster, they are aware that those buybacks were expended. They've got so much room to get damage out. They should just push those tier 4s. That's the play. Oh, Ori.
Dude, trying to just get some lanes pushed down here already. Trying to delay as much as he can to buy some time. The problem is, it's not even that they're short on gold here. They're just full down active right now for the buybacks. Oh, are you going to jump in again? But S-Triple-C going to have and Bloodborne, Ori is gone. That'll be the GG call. Team Aster. One last time.
Yo, I'm not even wearing a helmet.
Another 2-0 victory. This time around for Team Aster against VG Gaming. And that'll mean Aster will be your first upper bracket finalist.
Yeah.